One of the most important things in the aquarium hobby is that we can, well, see our fish. It's kind of the point, right? Well, this is where a good aquarium light can either make or break a project. So in this video, we're going to go over some of the key points about aquarium lighting. We're going to have a little fun with it because we're going to play a game of aquarium lighting, true or false. Oh, and by the way, I just want to mention, this is about freshwater aquariums only. Saltwater world, that's a completely different thing.
Fish need light to thrive and survive. I'm sorry, but this is false. The truth is, unless you're growing live plants in your aquarium, the lights are really just for us. As John said in the opening of this video, it's the main reason we keep aquariums. We want to be able to look at the fish, and even though you can still kind of see them with the lights off, having it be super bright makes it so much easier to admire the fish and other decorations. But other than that, the light serves no other purpose. The fish really don't care one way or the other if the lights are on or not. If I'm being honest with you, John and I rarely turn the lights on in our tanks. There's enough ambient lighting in the room for us to be able to see and enjoy the fish, and they can see their way around with no problem. Of course, that doesn't include the tanks that we have live plants in. We have those on regularly for obvious reasons. So unless your aquariums are in a dark room in your basement with no windows, you don't need to have the lights on for your fish. They'll be fine with just the ambient light in the room. If you do have your aquariums in a room that is the only room in the house that's dark, well, then you do want to turn your lights on occasionally because no one wants to be in the dark all the time.
Having too much light in your aquarium will promote algae growth. I'm sorry to tell you, but this is definitely true. We've already said it in this video that lighting is super important in planted tanks. We learned back in elementary school that nutrients in the soil and light help plants grow. Well, think of algae the same way. If we have a lot of nutrients in the tank, like fish waste and uneaten food, algae is going to thrive on that. And when you introduce a lot of high-powered lighting, that's just going to make it explode. Something a lot of new fish keepers don't think about is the ambient lighting in your room, like what's coming from a window. If you've got your aquarium near a big window with a bunch of sunlight coming in, and you also have your lights on 16 hours a day, you're giving algae everything it needs to thrive, and it doesn't need to be direct sunlight coming in from the window. Literally any light coming in from the window and hitting the tank is going to do this. Now listen, I'm not saying you can only put aquariums in rooms with no windows. I'm just saying if you have a lot of natural light coming in and you like to have your aquarium lights on all day long, you can expect to always be battling algae. Just keep up with your maintenance, don't overfeed your fish, and monitor your usage of the lights. Maybe cut back to only having the lights on when you're actually sitting there enjoying your tanks. If you're able to get all of this stuff balanced out and you don't give it too much light, you're not going to have a huge problem with algae.
Some fish actually appreciate less lighting. And this is true. Two of my favorite fish in the hobby are bettas and discus, and they actually prefer less lighting. If you think about it, it makes sense, especially with discus. In the wild, they're found in murky areas of the Amazon that have plenty of vegetation that would block a lot of the sunlight coming in. With bettas, I can't really explain it. Bettas are found in shallow ponds in Asia that would have plenty of light coming in, kind of the opposite of discus, but all I know is all 400 of the bettas I take care of every day are perfectly happy with just the ambient light in the room. Okay, so you may have just heard 400 betta tanks and you're thinking, this lady is pretty crazy. But the truth is, I take care of 400 betas, but they're not mine personally. They're for our website, and I sell some pretty awesome betas. If you're interested in buying one, then the link will be in the pinned comment. A good way to test to see if your fish doesn't like a lot of light is to simply watch their behavior. If you see them constantly hiding under decorations or behind things when the lights are on, maybe they're trying to get away from it. See what they do when you turn the lights off. If they come out and start exploring all over the place, that might be them telling you they prefer to not have things so bright. This would be when you might want to look into lights that have different intensity levels, like this light from Hygger. You might be able to find that sweet spot that keeps your fish happy and also keeps it bright enough for you to enjoy the aquarium.
You know, sometimes I feel like our videos are a little bit too serious. Let's have some fun. This is a story that has never been told. All of my fish died because I forgot to turn the light on. I know this might sound ridiculous to seasoned veteran fish keepers, but this is a big concern for many first-timers in the hobby. The questions, do I have to turn the lights on, or do I even need a light, are much more common than you think. And I've literally had people ask if there's a certain amount of time the lights need to be on, which will be best for the fish's health. I know we might sound like broken records at this point, but I don't think people pay enough attention to the ambient light that's coming in from windows and ceiling lights. The thing is, I've never heard of a fish that isn't perfectly satisfied with that amount of light coming in. Again, comparing it to the wild, which really doesn't make any sense because most likely the fish you have came from a farm somewhere, but if they were in the wild, they'd have light coming in from the sun, but there's also tons of shade from trees, vegetation in the water, and even clouds. Your fish definitely don't care whether your lights have red, green, and blue, and they don't care about kelvins or whether the light's coming from fluorescents or LEDs. The lights are for us, not the fish.
Too much light can stress out your fish. It's easy to understand how this is true. Just think of it this way. You're laying on a couch watching a movie. It's a little cloudy outside, so the room is kind of dim, and then someone comes in and turns the ceiling lights on. You'd be like, oh man, come on. But then imagine the exact same scenario except someone comes in and turns a stadium light on directly above your head. You'd be like, ugh! This is what it's like for your fish that are in a 20 long that's only 12 inches tall, and you turn on the brightest light you could possibly get. And that's all day long. That would be pretty miserable. I know it sounds like I'm trying to convince you to not put lights on your aquarium, and that's not it at all. I'm just saying you don't have to go out and get the brightest light you can possibly find. I mean, you're just gonna have algae problems, and you're probably gonna stress your fish out a whole lot.
All aquarium lights are suitable for growing live plants. This is false, but also kind of true. We all know plants don't grow in the dark. Well, most of them don't anyway. Aquarium plants grow using the process of photosynthesis just like all plants, and this means they absorb light, and if they don't have light, they'll just wither away and die. But not all plants require the same level of light. Some plants, like Anubias and Java Fern, can thrive in lower lights, while others, like dwarf baby tears, require super bright lights. The point of the dude's story is, maybe you've heard of all of the benefits of live plants and you like that look, but you have a light that's not super bright. And you're thinking you either can't keep plants or you've got to upgrade your light. Well, you may not have to do that. Instead, stick with the light and you just have to select plants that do well in lower light. You get to have nice plants and get that natural look with all the benefits they bring, and you don't have to buy a super bright light that'll stress out your fish and make them all hide all the time. Plus, the lower light plants are much easier to keep. I mean, I can even keep these plants. And that's really saying something. So there you go. I hope we were able to point out some things that maybe you weren't thinking about when it comes to aquarium lights. We are having so much fun doing these types of videos, folks. I hope you are too. But I gotta ask you for a favor. We've been talking about it for a while now, but I've just found out that all of my fish and all of Lisa's fish, they're all gonna die because you have not subscribed to the channel yet. Please save our fish, I'm begging you. All you have to do is click the red subscribe button down below. It's free, and you're gonna save all of these fish. They don't deserve to die because you haven't subscribed. It's just not fair. Anyway, these are so much fun to do. I hope you're enjoying them too. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.